Now, the most accurate weather forecast in South Texas with meteorologist Juan Acuna.
Welcome back, everyone. A very good Monday afternoon to you as we look at our Nissan Automotive 6 weather bug off in Kingsville, starting off with some morning clouds. No rainfall across the region for today. That just stayed just north of the coastal bend. And right now, temperatures in the lower 90s, southeasterly winds at 17 miles an hour there in Kingsville. And look at the temperatures. They're really not too bad for this time of year, but they are going to start to get a little bit hotter as we go over the next couple of days. Our water temperature over at Packery Channel warmed up to 86. It's 87 out in Port Aransas, into the lower 90s for our inland communities. And of course, the dew points into the upper 70s, even some lower 80s out at the Naval Air Station. So what does that translate to? It feels like 106 for our friends out at the Naval Air Station near Flower Bluff, 100 in Ingleside as well as in Rockport. Here in Corpus Christi, just shy of the century mark there, but still feeling like 102 off in George West. As we look at the evening forecast, perhaps you have some plans out there. It's going to be muggy. It's going to be humid as well. Look at those temperatures struggling to get out of the lower 80s with southeasterly winds that are persistent around 10 to 15 right now. They'll begin to relax less than 10 miles an hour going into tonight. We saw a little bit of fog early this morning, and we're going to see that again because the grounds are very much saturated, and with all that moisture in the air, we still see the possibility of fog forming, particularly for the inland areas, with visibility dropping to about 1 to 3 miles. So use caution early in the morning. That'll quickly burn off, though, as we go throughout the afternoon. We get the sunshine going, and still very damp across the Lone Star State. Again, we just missed out on this activity. Most of that is in central Texas, extending all the way over to the Permian Basin and parts of West Texas as well. Even some big time showers up around Houston, again stretching all the way up to Dallas. But high pressure is off in the Gulf of Mexico. This is slowly going to start to build towards us over the next couple of days. And as that does so, we're going to begin to dry out even more for us here. And even the frontal boundaries that are up in the Central Plains, these are going to bypass us and completely move off to the east. As you see here, Tropical Storm Chris is still off the Carolina coast and not bothering anyone on the mainland, just some kicking up some of the surf out there, but this is continuing to move off to the northeast and not expected to bother anyone for the time being. Upper levels of the atmosphere, as we look at the water vapor imagery, you can see it's pretty much controlling the entire nation right now, but still we're under the bottom of this dome at this point. As you can see, the southern part of it, I should say, so we still have a lot of moisture on the southern end of this, but as we go over the next couple of days, that high pressure is going to move on down and really begin to dry things out. And you can see where the actual dome is, where it's sitting right on top of in the Central Plains. They're hotter than we are. They're looking at 94 in Omaha, 94 in Wichita, but just north of that, where they have a couple of frontal boundaries under the upper 70s. But hey, it could be worse. Look at Las Vegas is checking in at 106. Future tracker going into tonight and into tomorrow morning. We could start off with a couple of sprinkles. This picks up with the afternoon sea breeze right there. Only a stray opportunity, not looking for anything spectacular. The heat and the sunshine is going to be what rules as we go on into Wednesday and on into Thursday as well. You can see we're under mostly sunny skies. And as I mentioned, we're continuing to watch the tropics for you. The Gulf of Mexico is looking pretty good. It got a little plume of moisture coming off the Yucatan, but not anything that the National Hurricane Center is watching. But there's Tropical Storm Chris, as we saw earlier, expected to move off to the northeast, and the remnants of Beryl at this point are going right over Puerto Rico and headed towards the Dominican Republic, and still has the opportunity to reform, but there's a lot of dust out there and the waters are still cool, so it is going to continue to bring lots of rainfall for those folks. Neither of those activity is a threat to us here in South Texas. Our NEC Co-op Energy 7-day forecast: 76, 91 tomorrow, 76 and 93 on Wednesday. Very humid. It's going to continue to heat up, and a lot more haze going into Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That's the Sahara dust moving back in. It heats up, and we're looking for those heat indices to push 110 degrees. Lee, Priscilla.